Good morning, everybody. As you join in today, as always, say hi, and if you dare, click share. Acts 24, verse 22, it says, "But when Felix heard these things, having more accurate knowledge of the way, he adjourned the proceedings and said, When Lysias the commander comes down, I'll make a decision concerning your case, or on your case. So he commanded the centurion to keep Paul and to let him have liberty, and he told him not to forbid him and his friends and to provide for or visit him. And after some days, when Felix came with his wife Drusilla, who was Jewish, he sent for Paul and heard him concerning the faith in Christ. Now he reasoned about righteousness, self control, and the judgment to come. Felix was afraid and answered, Go away for now. When I have a convenient time, I will call for you. Meanwhile, he also hoped that money would be given him by Paul that he might release him. Therefore, he sent him more often and conversed with him. But after 2 years, Porcius Festus succeeded Felix, and Felix, wanting to do Jews a favor, left Paul bound. Here we have the story of Felix and Drusilla. Now, Felix was a slave, actually freed under Claudius Caesar, and becomes the first freedman to ever become a proconsul down in the area of Judea. His wife was Drusilla. That was his second wife, actually. And if I'm not mistaken, his first wife was also named Drusilla, who was the aunt of this Drusilla. That's not confusing. Drusilla was the daughter of Agrippa the First. So Herod Agrippa, there's family here. And what we see is this couple. Josephus calls Drusilla the most beautiful woman in all of Judea. She was quite the catch. Well, there's one big gleaning after you get your history figured out. I mean, history's cool and all, but basically, what do we see? We see a guy who's willing to listen to Paul, and he's willing to hear his case, and he's even willing to treat him favorably in hopes that he can get some money out of him or something good. But at the end of the day, he basically said, come back when there's a more convenient time, and then maybe I will take this talk and make it more serious. And so, 1 second. Hey, buddy, go get Hannah. Go on, buddy. Sending Benny to go get his sister. This will go well. Anywho, so Felix ends up getting banished from Rome. And once he was banished, he kind of drops off the scene historically. Drusilla, though, doesn't drop off the scene. Drusilla ends up moving with their son and remarrying, I believe, and she moves to a quiet little town by the name of Pompeii. And if anyone knows much about Pompeii in 79 AD, Pompeii, the mountain, explodes and incinerates the city. Even recently, I just heard of a new thing. I just saw a news article on the internet about the Ferrari of chariots being unearthed at Pompeii. They're still excavating it today. It's one of the most exciting places to excavate as far as Roman history is concerned, because literally life stopped like that, and they could actually see the food that people were eating and all these things that normally you'd never catch, because normally you don't stop humans like that in the middle of what they were doing. And, to get archaeological finds, things have to be buried, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, Pompeii, cool site. But Drusilla's life and her son's life, Felix's son's life, it ended in a moment, in an instant. Don't know what happened to him, but we know what happened to her. And if we go back to that thing that he said, I'll call you again on a convenient time, we see the irony, and we see this the pretty simple fact that there's never a more convenient time than today to really set right the things that need to be set right, to make those hard decisions that have been getting put off for too long, to rededicate our lives, to do those things. You know, we may never get the chance to get around to some of the stuff that we need to be doing. It just might not ever happen. And so, will we continually say, well, eventually I'm going to make that decision? I know what I need to do, but I keep putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. And then all of a sudden, Pompeii hits, and you realize you're going to stand before the Lord, and you never actually did those things that you knew you wanted to do before you saw him because you thought there was time to get it done. And so, a convenient time for Jesus, there's never a convenient time. That's for sure. Today's the day of salvation. Today is the day that we need to not falter between two opinions, but that we need to make that decision to follow and go and do what we need to do. So maybe it's the decision to follow Jesus, but maybe it's just the decision to put away some sin, or the decision to make that commitment and finally start serving or doing those things you're called to do. So don't wait for convenient time. If there's something that God's been laying on your heart, just get it done. You can thank Paul later. God bless you guys. Have an amazing day.